99 Nights in the Forest is officially the biggest game of Roblox, and I've played the other most popular games of Roblox and they all pretty much suck. So today we'll be finding out if this game is any different from the slop on the front page. Subscribe to become OP. Exhibit A. Is 99 Nights in the Forest good? 99 Nights in the Forest was created by the same developers who created Break-In, a cult classic Roblox game that actually had a story and multiple endings. 99 Nights in the Forest takes that formula and spins it on its head. Basically, it's a survival horror game, this time where you survive off your environment or to survive 99 nights and save 4 missing kids in the forest. Now, what I will say off the bat is that 99 Nights in the Forest is actually a game, unlike the games on the front page like Still a Brain Rot or Gore Garden, where it's just wait around for money simulator. Whereas 99 Nights in the Forest actually has a gameplay loop to follow and play through, which, if this is the bar for Roblox, I'm not gonna lie, this platform might be cooked for the foreseeable future. Not to mention, it actually reminds me of old school Roblox games, where it's just simple, but still a good time to play. If this game came out when I was just starting to play Roblox, I honestly probably would have loved it. It's not trying to be this insane game with a whole bunch of effects and colors, and the animations are passable at best, but it is the most Roblox feeling game we've gotten all year, and I have to commend it for that, because Roblox all year has been absolute garbage. Oh my god. Look at this game, not as your standard for the latest and greatest, but an almost nostalgic experience that harkens back to that old style of Roblox without being
retro slop, as they call it.
The game starts you chopping off wood like this is Minecraft or something, and then you make a fire. Now this fire actually controls how far you can explore and is your lifeline basically. Without this fire, you are in immediate danger and will be exposed to the dangers of the forest. The dangers being the big deer that will attempt to chase you if you aren't around his fire. You also must manage your hunger by killing nearby rabbits, wolves, and bears, which are currently the only 3 livestock in the game. You can also, of course, fish as well, because what game doesn't have that level of RNG? Even has a mini bestiary too. You can also tame animals as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Other than that though, you'll be exploring around the surrounding area for loot. You can get different weapons from chests. You can also get armor and even bandages to heal yourself and fight. You also have items that give scrap, which you use to craft and build items for your base. The main goal is honestly just to get all the beds and max your crafting table out, so you can obtain most of the stuff in the game before night 99. The beds also allow you to skip ahead days so that the game goes faster. Another thing that allows days to go by quicker is finding a missing kid. Once you find one of these kids, you'll be met with the color-coded wolves that you'll have to take out. These wolves aren't too difficult, which honestly none of the enemies in this game are. Like honestly, you can literally be blind, hands tied behind your back, and you still will not die in this game. And then you get a key to unlock the area where the kid is being held. You literally put the kid inside a pouch and bring him back to your base, and nothing really happens. He built a tent and now the day is skip ahead +1. But after you get all the kids back safe, the game is basically on autopilot. You go out some days, you gather resources. Other days you might go out and fight enemies in strongholds. Sometimes after like 6 or 7 days or so, cultists will come with a deer and then they try to attack your base, and they aren't really a threat like every other enemy in the game. These cultists sometimes drop their gems you can also use for crafting eventually, or other things in the game.
You can also just straight up throw their body in the fire, which I thought was hilarious.
But once you deal with that, you must also fight the weather because it'll try to ruin everything once you get to like night 50. There is also different enemies now other than the deer, like a ram and also an owl that can also spawn during your run that changes the normal deer to something else entirely. But both of these
are just too easy to avoid.
There is events that do happen that kind of change the game. Like currently there is a trick or treat event where there's different houses now that spawn and can supply you with loot if you light it up with a Halloween candle, and of course you might sometimes get a treat, you might sometimes get a trick. Now one big problem I'll get into is the actual difficulty system and how heavily flawed it can be. I play with 3 people, and the more people you play with in this game, the more difficult the game will end up being. Now both of my teammates I assume were actual primates with 2 brain cells. Like I'm serious, they kept dying over and over before we even reached night 50. And this game is extremely easy, so if you're dying in this game, I'm just gonna assume you're either really young or just flat out stupid. Like honestly, this game's really easy. They both end up leaving, but the difficulty doesn't drop once they leave, so I'm stuck with an unbalanced game that I somehow ended up beating eventually. Once I got to around night 60, my fire just kept going out and strongholds were way too difficult to even do because the game was balanced for 3 people now and not 1. So my experience of the game was absolutely dreadful for the last 20 or so days. Luckily though, I had enough beds and stuff around my camp to where I was able to survive basically without a campfire while running for my life in the pitch black forest. So honestly a really interesting and exhilarating way to play the game, but it actually made the game kind of more fun. Once you actually get towards the end of your first playthrough and even during it, the cracks and problems of this game start to show eventually, and honestly it's not very pretty. Exhibit B, the problems with 99 Nights in the Forest. Now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the greediness of 99 Nights in the Forest. And take a look at these prices for gems, which is the premium currency in the game. It's utterly insane. When I saw this, I honestly let out a deep sigh because I realized what this game really is,
which is a class obtainment simulator.
What makes it even worse is that this game also takes a stock system from games like Blox Fruits, Grow a Garden, and puts it in this game where it sticks out like a sore thumb. Literally makes zero sense to have a stock system for classes in this game, and a lot of the time for classes you want aren't even in stock, so you must re-roll or wait literally 2+ hours for the shop to re-roll, which is crazy. Not to mention some of these super expensive classes being absolutely garbage, so they aren't even worth the amount of gems they're charging for it. Just to get one of the newer classes, Necromancer, you must spend $30 in real world currency to get it. And if the developers think anyone with a brain is buying that, the Roblox population might actually be dumber than we actually initially thought. And the sad part is that you really don't get that many diamonds from playing, so you must be chronically online for weeks to even get good classes in this game. And the sadder part is that these classes are a huge part of the replayability, because who wants to keep using the same classes over and over? This game just doesn't have enough content for that. Another thing is that this game is meant to be scary, I think, but for me, it really doesn't give me horror vibes at all. The deer looks extremely derpy, and the enemies in the game pose no real threat, so you are basically never scared of anything in this game. Back to the point of the game being way too easy, if you press shift lock, it basically makes all fights against most enemies in this game, especially the melee cultists, extremely easy, because the pathing of this game is absolutely awful and so outdated. This even applies to the main deer enemy, which can just walk directly into a house and get stuck. The enemies just come at you in a straight line and never actually try to attack you in a smart way, which I guess if you consider the average IQ of a Roblox player, this probably was a good idea for the developers to do. Even Dev Roast had better pathfinding for enemies than this game, which is sad. But look at which game is alive and which game is kind of dying. And the weapons in this game are just broken, not to mention the fact that you can basically get infinite ammo with the ammo crate, making the game as easy as can be, which can make it also extremely boring as a result. Because of this game being so brain dead easy, you hardly ever have to actually build a competent base to survive 99 nights. Not to mention a lot of the crafting options are absolutely pointless, like the different shelves and containers, which you're just absolutely not going to use because you don't need them. You can just put the food on the ground. What's the point of a food container? For a game that's been out for this long, it really has no real depth or gameplay options aside from the simple kill cultists, go out and scavenge loop, which becomes old very fast. Once you actually do survive 99 nights and rescue the 4 kids
in the same identical way, which I thought was extremely dumb,
the game is basically pointless to play beyond that, because there's no more content to play. They say more will be added, but this game has been out for a while and almost nothing has been added to this ending. It would have been cool had there been different endings, but no, you get this terribly animated and terribly designed cutscene of the deer going away from good. And the game basically telling you to mess around for another few hours for nothing else but badges, which barely give you any gems, circling back to the greed problem we talked about earlier. Exhibit C, 99 Nights in the Forest versus Stilla Brain Rot and Grow Garden. Now the big question is, how does 99 Nights in the Forest stand against its homepage competition? And in my opinion, it's not even close. To compare 99 Nights to any of these games, it's like Hydrogen Bomb to Crying Baby. Literally. Stilla Brain Rot is just a silly tycoon game that uses AI generated brain rot slapped with a conveyor belt to entice children, and Grow Garden is just simply boring, and every update is the exact same process of getting the new mutation, rinse and repeat. The only thing that even makes these games sometimes pass up 99 Nights in player count is the admin abuse, because other than that, it's only weekends where these games even average over 1 million players, because a lot of people don't even play these games. They just play the admin events and then leave. But 99 Nights constantly is averaging over 1 million, sometimes 2 million players consistently without the need of any real events, which is very impressive. I can't really see why the game has 2 million players though, other than it basically being a big giant retention farm because of it actually having a gameplay loop unlike these other games. Other than that, it and so many other front page games don't look like they deserve millions of players, which is just the truth. They all look extremely low quality. While I don't think 99 Nights deserves to die or anything, but it definitely probably doesn't deserve to have like 2 million players over so many of the other better games on the platform. The issue with a lot of the front page is that it's simply not fun at all and is pure slop, purely made for monetary gain. And sure, 99 Nights also has its greedy practices, but I don't think it absolutely ruins the core of the game, which is actually solid compared to everything else on the front page, which is not really saying much because the other games literally are barely games. Like, they're that bad. The only thing I could say about 99 Nights is that I just can't see myself playing it again unless they revamp a lot and add a lot more to the game. But I definitely will take it over any of these brain rot slop games 100%. I just hope it doesn't fall down the same rabbit hole similar games like Dead Rails and a Dusty Trip fell down, because I feel like with recent updates it might actually. The greediness is starting to show early, so hopefully the developers see they actually have an okay game on their hands that they can only further improve instead of adding stock to the classes in the game, which are like the only interesting thing to unlock after beating the game. But as I said in every video, if you guys enjoyed this video, you like to see more content like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.